Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast here by Agent Weather Forecast. This will be another major update here on this potential likely so-called tornado outbreak here. Definitely very likely to be a huge severe weather outbreak throughout millions all the way in areas in the Midwest up to the South Central. We have major updates on the SPC outlook here. We're going to continue to see major updates later on today, which is why I'll have another update later this evening. So please stay tuned. Of course, you guys know I'll be live streaming if I could, but I still can't as of right now. So I still can't live stream, but as soon as I get the privilege back, I will be doing it when we have severe weather outbreaks like this. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, guys. Really means a lot when you guys support my channel. We are actually, I want to thank you guys so much for 2,119 subscribers, and we aren't too far from 2,200 subscribers. So let's try to get there by the end of today. Thank you guys all so much for the support. Please share the channel to any friend or family that you think will be in the way of this major severe weather with large hail, damaging winds, and likely for widespread tornadoes. We need as many people to be weather aware of this so we can prevent any as many casualties as we can. Without further ado, let's get in this video. So this is the map that I made earlier today, and it's still very accurate. I don't necessarily think there's a point of actually making a new one as of right now, because this is what I think the future SPC outlook will look like. I know we just had another update, but it's actually looking like we can possibly have multiple more updates in the SPC outlook, and this is what I think it's going to be looking like really by the end of today. This is what I think the SPC outlook will look like in its next update, or by the evening update, but there's actually a major update here on the SPC outlook, which we'll be looking at right now. But this is where we have the potential for the moderate risk here in that red color, moving a lot more into Louisiana. I think it should also push a bit more now into the Dallas area, which it actually did. So we actually have Dallas in this, and also they extended this moderate risk to the border here with Kansas and Missouri. So we have a moderate risk as well right here. So that's there. So I also think that we can extend this moderate risk a lot more into Arkansas. We only have it right here as of right now, so I think it should extend a lot more later today as these bands do continue to move eastward with these pop-up storms that have yet to really form as of right now. And I think we can get this moderate risk all the way into the northwestern border, northwestern tip of Louisiana. We already had this moderate risk pushed down almost to the border with Louisiana with the last update. So it looks like it's going in my favor of my map. So in the enhanced risk, I think it's very likely we have two areas of enhanced risk. I think they might extend, or they should issue an enhanced risk here for the Midwest as well. This is also going to be our area of focus here for north central Illinois, and maybe even areas into maybe even more into eastern Missouri, even on the border with Iowa. I think it's very likely we can be seeing very powerful squall lines in these areas. Some could possibly be tornadic. Without a doubt, we're going to be seeing very strong damaging winds and also a potential for maybe moderately sized hail. We'll definitely be seeing stronger hail and a better threat for hail right here. And then we have this other area of enhanced risk. I think they might push it a bit more now closer more into central Louisiana, and I also think they might extend this enhanced risk a lot more into southern Texas. But this is what we have right now. It could be likely that we could be seeing these areas extend an enhanced risk if we have one issued here. So it could be seeing a really large area of an enhanced risk. And then the yellow and the greens, marginal and a slight, we'll be seeing some scattered thunderstorms today that could be quite severe. And without a doubt, we're still don't rule out the possibilities for tornadoes. Will be scattered tornadoes, even in the slight and marginal risk. We have that possibility, so don't rule that out. And we're still going to be seeing very strong, widespread, damaging winds with this low-level jet. Also, continues to see a ton amount of pop-up systems. Now let's check out the models. So here's a day one outlook here. So we're going to be seeing a ton of severe weather, as you can tell, very widespread. This is the new SPC outlook. As you can tell, it has now pushed north and eastward, even southward. So very big, widespread. New areas of moderate. So now it's right on the border of Kansas. I didn't really expect them to put a moderate there, but it looks like the hail possibilities really have ramped up in those areas. So I can somewhat agree. And we even have the tip of the far southwestern tip of Missouri as well is in that moderate risk. So maybe there's a possibility we can see this moderate in Kansas and Missouri. I highly doubt it will go into Kansas, but maybe southwestern Missouri has a possibility. And then we now have Dallas and Fort Worth under a moderate risk. So this is a no joke situation here, and a very dangerous situation throughout these areas in northeastern Texas, far western Arkansas, and much of eastern Oklahoma, areas near Tulsa, you guys are under that moderate now. And it's likely we can possibility there's a possibility we can have Louisiana, the northwestern tip in my map. It looks like it's a lot like more likely to actually have that moderate risk there. As you can tell now, it's on the border of Louisiana, so it has gone down, shifted south. So Dallas, Dallas, Fort Worth, or Tulsa, you guys are the biggest cities in the path of the extremely strong squall lines, possibly tornadic thunderstorms, and maybe even a ton of hail and possibilities for tornadoes. So you're definitely need to watch out. You're definitely be on the lookout, especially for the afternoon and evening hours when we see these pop-up storms that are very large now, very large squall lines. So definitely need to watch out as well. Not only that, but in the overnight hours. So definitely need to have a plan in case you are in the night and you have to rush to the basement. So have a plan prepared there if you're in the moderate. Even in the enhanced risk, they have actually now pushed this enhanced risk now more into Missouri. So I actually agree with that. That's why I said there's a possibility that they can possibly connect those enhanced risks in my map, where I said in my map, if they put one in north central Illinois and eastern Iowa, it's very likely they can connect that if there is one issued. And now we have more of a threat now for northwestern Louisiana, and this enhanced risk is now, I believe, in the Houston area, and Houston is in the border. So as you can tell, they definitely have extended this a lot more, and I actually really agree with this. I just don't necessarily think I necessarily still agree with that northwestern tip of Oklahoma still under that moderate, but it's good to have there for precautions. So now we're going to be looking here at the tornado probability. As you can tell now, we have this 10% chance for tornadoes shifting a bit more now closer to Louisiana, heading closer to the Texarkana area, and Kansas. You guys are now under that 10% chance for tornadoes, and so is the tip of Kansas. So if this chance for hail does go up, or even wind go up for Kansas, you guys are likely to be in that moderate risk. But I think it's more likely for the southwestern tip of Missouri, not like right here, but like right here on the tip, could be in that moderate. So this is our highest risk for tornadoes today. Very likely we're going to be seeing very strong tornadoes, wedge tornadoes. It's very likely there, especially with the amount of wind shear, also the amount of energy in the atmosphere, the moisture, and all of that's all set in place. But wind shear is not impressive, but we still have it there in place. And then we had that very widespread 2 to 5% chance there throughout many areas in the Mississippi River and also in the Midwest. As you can tell, hail threat is now extended up to a 45% chance, which is absolutely incredibly impressive. That's going to be for the northwestern part of Oklahoma. So this is exactly why we have that moderate risk now extended. So as you can tell, it's right on the border. It literally stops right on the border, like if it was like it was purposely just stopped on the border. I find that really weird how they didn't just put it maybe a little bit to the tip. They just stopped it right on the border. Like it looks kind of purposely like that. And we had that 15% chance as well right on the border with northwestern Arkansas and southwestern Missouri. So it looks like northwestern Oklahoma is looking like they're going to get hit the hardest with hail, but not necessarily looking like they can get hit the hardest with winds. But we saw the widespread wind threat, the 30% chance. That's still a possibility now, moving a bit more to southwestern Missouri, Arkansas, southeastern Kansas, and much of eastern Oklahoma. You guys also have that 30% chance. And then we had a very widespread 45% chance for winds, even a significant severe risk. That's going to be right here for areas into western Arkansas, northeastern Texas, and areas, of course, much of eastern Oklahoma. So it looks like eastern Oklahoma, you guys are definitely going to get hit really hard. It's looking like a possibility we can finally call this a tornado outbreak. It looks like Dallas, areas in Fort Worth, you guys are in that 45% chance under the significant severe. Also getting closer to the Louisiana border, and we have that widespread 5 to 30% chance on the other areas for winds. So wind threat's definitely our primary threat today. And then for today's outbreak, and then I'll say hail and then tornadoes. So that's what we're seeing there. And then for tomorrow, we still have that possibility for a slight risk. I'm actually all the way from Georgia to the border of South Carolina up to Louisiana. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. And then we'll also talk about day 3 as well tomorrow, once today's outbreak is over. Today seems obviously to be the worst day. So in the next couple hours here, this is where we have we're going to be focusing on the Midwest. Now we'll take a look at the South Central. So here we have this. This is with the first wave that we saw this morning. This is now going to be heading off into the Canada border. That's going to be for Wisconsin, parts of northeastern Minnesota, and parts of western Michigan. Here we have that defined low pressure system there. And then we're going to be seeing the pop-up systems now in Missouri and Kansas, just out of Kansas City. near Wichita, near Topeka, Kansas. We're starting to see some pop-up bands form here with the amounts of energy. The Cape Valleys are incredibly high, and also wind shear is going to be very strong over the Central Plains. So that's definitely going to cause these pop-up systems to be very strong. That's going to be going through north central Missouri and also southeastern Kansas. So this is exactly why I think we can have an enhanced risk more likely here for the Illinois area. I think it's very likely that we can have an enhanced risk stretch out into central Illinois, maybe that far southeastern tip of Iowa. And this is exactly why you see that they added enhanced risk now for central Missouri, and they're seeing the exact same band. It looks like Illinois might get hit the hardest. Again, that's going to hit now towards the Springfield area, going to head towards St. Louis, Peoria, and also very powerful bands for Joplin and northwestern Arkansas. This is going to be by Wednesday or tomorrow, early in the morning. Look at these extremely strong bands heading to Peoria, Springfield, Washington. You guys are going to get hit really hard in central Illinois. And the extremely strong bands here, possibly supercells in the St. Louis area, and also very strong bands now for the northwestern part of Arkansas and also near the southern part of Missouri. We'll have that really big severe weather threat now for the Ohio River areas and also Ohio Valley for southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, and that'll be heading now more of a less of a threat for severe weather for the Ohio Valley, and that'll bring possibly some flash flooding threats. So our main or most principal area of threat, of course, is this western part or the eastern part of Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, also the tip of I say they possibly add to the tip of Louisiana. Here we have this area right here of focus. This should be seeing that really strong severe weather bands and strong squall lines, possibilities for tornadic thunderstorms, very likely there for also very large hail. But here we have the defined low pressure system here in the next couple of hours by later this afternoon. This is exactly why we'll be seeing these bands developing later today. We're going to be seeing this moisture and humidity, all of that, all this instability in the Gulf now strengthening. So that's exactly why we'll be seeing very strong Cape Valleys here, ranging from the 3,000s to possibly 5,000 joules per kilogram in these areas. So that's going to be a crazy amount of course, energy in these bands to create these pop-up storms, and they will be very strong just from the start. Here we have these, again, this is going to be a very impressive squall line here, possibly for derechos, however you want to say it. They're very likely there. And that's going to be heading straight for the southwestern part of Oklahoma, southeastern part of Oklahoma. As you can tell, it looks like the storms will be really strengthening for southwestern Oklahoma, and they won't be as bad for northwestern Oklahoma or northeastern Oklahoma. So it looks like southeastern Oklahoma might get hit the hardest, in my opinion. And we have this very strong squall line here heading towards the Little Rock area, El Dorado, going straight over now the Paris, Texas area. That's going to be affecting Gainesville, Texas. That's going straight for Dallas and Fort Worth. So this is not a joke. This is not what we saw the so-called bust last week, where we had the enhanced risk for Dallas and Fort Worth, but nothing happened. This is definitely going to hit Dallas, right on the heart of Dallas and Fort Worth. Extremely strong squall line here. Possibilities for going to be seeing some wall clouds here. This is going to be possibly an overnight threat. So you're going to definitely need to watch out. You're definitely going to have a plan. Go ahead and sleep in the basement. I will sleep in the basement. Just go there maybe around 8 or 9 before these really big pop-up storms. Maybe go watch your local news. If not, if you know anybody in these areas, please share the video so they are weather aware. That's exactly why I'm going to be seeing. Exactly why I'm going to be doing an evening update, so you guys can get that. And then very strong band as well, going straight out towards the State College area, Lufkin. That's going to be possibility now. We'll possibly maybe have this enhanced risk and moderate risk be issued. I really think we should have that moderate risk be issued for northwestern Louisiana. And this will be heading really strong bands down for the Baton Rouge area, Alexandria, New Orleans, and then that possibly threat for the southeast. Now we're going to be looking at the European. Here we have that where we saw this is the bands that we saw earlier this morning here, which we looked on the radar. That's going to be heading towards the Wisconsin area, Minnesota, Michigan. But here's our primary area of these really strong squall lines developing here with this overday heating, with the wind shear really strengthening, with also the Gulf flow strengthening. Here you have a huge squall line all the way from Illinois to Oklahoma, which is actually a pretty long squall line. It's very impressive. Definitely a really big derecho. Or actually, derecho. I've had multiple people pronounce it differently, so I'm just gonna go with derecho. I just feel like that makes more sense, and that's gonna bring a ton of extremely large hail, damaging winds, straight line winds as well. If we obviously have rotating cells, we'll be seeing debris all over the place with these rotating winds. But Our primary threat is straight line winds. Of course, here we have that low jet stream here, that low level jet. That's going to be going over the Central Plains, and then we'll have extremely powerful bands going past the Dallas area, heading towards now southeastern Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana. That's going to be heading now towards the Lufkin area, State College, Tyler, Texas, and that's going to hit Houston, and then we'll have that potential development now with the low jet now bringing a ton of wind through the southeast. Now seeing that Gulf moisture heading towards the southeast, a potential for strong severe weather now. Another severe weather. This will be the exact same outbreak, just not as bad. So here you see that low level jet. Here it's not impressive, but it's looking a lot stronger than it did earlier yesterday. It's gonna be seeing a ton of wind shear here. Here I have the low level jet. That's gonna bring in a ton, and I mean a ton of wind shear here throughout the areas into the Midwest, and also all the way to the Oklahoma area. This is going to bring in a ton of wind. It's going to be up to 150 knots in these and higher in the atmosphere, which they ton to produce 8 systems. So that's going to be seeing some very strong squall lines over Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, and probably also northwestern Oklahoma, which is probably exactly why they issued it. And I think they definitely they should issue an enhanced risk for these areas, because it's very likely they should have one there, and I think it's really likely again to have one. We're going to definitely see some strong bands. And then by Thursday Thursday, this low level jet does die down, and that's going to bring it. Still, we had a defined low pressure system here in the Gulf, the Great Lakes, and we're going to be seeing a ton of wind shear that does die down. Going to be seeing around 97 knots, maybe 95 knots for the southeast, and that's going to create that potential for severe weather. As you can tell, the instability is going to be a lot less of a threat. We're going to be seeing obviously less Cape values, like no really Cape numbers whatsoever here, maybe in the thousands or lower. And we're not going to be seeing too much Gulf moisture and moisture flow. So this is exactly why it won't be as bad tomorrow. But San Antonio, Austin, College Station, Tyler, Dallas, you guys are all above 3,000 joules per kilogram here, which is a ton. We're going to be seeing close to 5,000, close to 5,500 joules per kilogram. All the way to Tulsa and Springfield later today. We're going to be seeing these mid-3,000s. As we get later today, these numbers get really, really impressive as we get in the afternoon hours. This you definitely need to worry by 5 o'clock in the maybe early evening hours. This is definitely where you want to put your news on and get in a room. Obviously, you don't want to get in a room with no windows until obviously there's a tornado warning or watch. But definitely maybe go in your basement way ahead of time. But you don't have to go in a room with no windows at that point. Just maybe be in your basement if you have one way ahead of time. Maybe like 3 or 4 hours before they usually come. That's what I do. 5,000 joules per kilogram or 5,100 for Longview for Tyler. For Longview, 4,700. Waco, 4,400. Temple, around 5,000. Round Rock, 4,800. Austin, 4,800. As we continue on by 8 o'clock, these numbers get a lot higher for Dallas. This is showing you we're going to be seeing a lot of energy in these bands. So it looks like around 8 o'clock, we're going to be seeing these pop-ups or this squall line moving towards Dallas. As you can see, that energy increasing. 5,100 joules per kilogram for Waco. Tyler, 4,500. And for northeastern Texas near Paris, we are seeing some 5,000s there. Near Oklahoma City, 2,100, but right here south of that, 4,000 joules per kilogram, and then numbers do die down a little bit, but we're still seeing some higher numbers, 3,500, 4,100, and then it's like the amount of energy does increase now for southwestern Oklahoma there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't have to like and subscribe. Of course, I'll have another evening update, but again, I'm definitely going to try to keep you guys as updated as I can. And of course, I can't live stream, so I'm doing as much and as best as I can. And I really do apologize for that. And I'm trying to get YouTube. I'm trying to email YouTube, but it's not, the email thing is not popping up even though I'm monetized. But bye, guys.